The musty smell of green moss-stained brick walls mingles with the pungent odor of shoe polish. The quintessential English drizzle beats a steady, monotonous rhythm on the tin roof of the infantry barracks. You are 22 years old. You wear standard-issue DPM camouflage, splattered with mud after a pointless training exercise. 3 years of service in the regular army have passed in a dull blink of an eye. You know exactly how to strip and assemble an SA-80 assault rifle. You know how to follow the orders of a screaming NCO, and you know how to kill time in pubs reeking of cheap beer. You stop in front of the notice board in the mess hall corridor. Amidst duty rosters and disciplinary notices, a white A4 sheet of paper is casually pinned. There is no grand logo, no heroic imagery, only a single line of stark black italicized text: United Kingdom Special Forces Selection, UKSF Selection. An old soldier walks by. He stops, glances at the paper, then looks at you. The corner of his mouth twitches into a cynical, bitter smile. "Don't do it," he drops a dry sentence. "Don't sign that if you still want to remain a human being." He walks away, the clicking of his boots fading into the distance. Not a single word of encouragement. Not a single encouraging look. The system isn't rolling out a red carpet to invite you in. It is warning you, but that very coldness claws at the suffocating arrogance in your chest. You reach into your breast pocket, pull out a ballpoint pen. You underline your name on the crumpled sign-up sheet. That winter, you are thrown into the Brecon Beacons. The notorious SAS selection course begins to grind down your physical body. The slate-gray sky weighs heavily on the barren hilltops. The freezing rain cuts to the bone. Thick fog swallows all visibility beyond 10 meters. You are soaked to the skin. The 35-kilo Bergen rucksack straps bite tightly into your shoulders, slicing into your flesh until it bleeds. Sweat mixed with rainwater streams down the corners of your mouth, tasting salty. You are walking alone. There is no companion. There is no GPS device for support. Not a single word of guidance from the directing staff, other than a deadly string of coordinates. You must navigate your own way across slippery, muddy slopes. Your thigh muscles cramp violently. Your knees ache with every stomping step onto the jagged rocks. The pulse at your temples throbs with agonizing pain. You begin to lose your bearings. Ahead, through the murky fog, a shadow collapses into a mud puddle. It is another candidate. He lies curled up, clutching his chest, gasping for air. His lips are purple from hypothermia. His eyes glaze over, looking up at you in utter desperation. His trembling hand reaches out, clawing at your trouser leg. "Help me!" His voice is a weak rasp, more than half drowned out by the howling wind. "Pull me up, please. I don't want to be binned." You stop. Your legs feel as heavy as lead. The reflex of a normal human being screams in your brain. Lift him up, share the burden. You stand looking at him for exactly 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. You slowly bend down. Your hand reaches into his breast pocket. Not to hoist him up. You snatch his emergency distress beacon. Press the button. A plume of red smoke shoots up into the air, piercing the fog to call the rescue team. He screams, tears streaming down his face mixing with the mud, cursing you viciously for personally killing his dream. Pressing the button means he has officially failed the selection course. He would rather freeze to death on the mountain than be stripped of this opportunity. But you don't care. You turn your back, tighten your rucksack straps, and step forward into the freezing fog behind him. You saved his life, but you callously stripped him of his purpose for living. The SAS does not teach you how to kill in those first few weeks. They teach you the cold ruthlessness of discipline and the principles of survival. You are 23 years old, standing in front of the mirror in the locker room, donning the sacred sand-colored beret. The winged dagger insignia glints. You are officially an SAS trooper, a phantom of the 22nd SAS Regiment. You no longer have a name. You are a service number. You are assigned to an elite squadron, swallowed within a structure of 60 men. Below that is a troop of 16 men, and finally, you are part of a patrol, a 4-man team operating independently. Your mountaineering and altitude endurance skills land you in the mountain troop. The bone-dry, scorching air blasts your face. You lie prone on a rocky outcropping, jutting out amidst the barren, mountainous terrain of the Middle East. surrounded by nothing but yellow sand and jagged limestone ridges. A deep reconnaissance mission. No fire support, no medevac helicopters. The four of you are completely isolated behind enemy lines. Through your optical binoculars, you spot a thick cloud of dust billowing up from the dirt track in the valley below. A convoy of pickup trucks mounted with heavy machine guns. In the beds of the trucks are long wooden crates smuggling shoulder-fired missiles. An unprecedented high-value target not in the intelligence dossier. According strictly to the rules of engagement and recon orders, you must get on the radio, report the coordinates back to headquarters, and quietly withdraw. Absolutely do not open fire. You turn to look at your three teammates. No one says a word. Eyes meet through the camouflage face paint. The wind whistles past the barrel of your M16. A two rifle fitted with an M203 grenade launcher. Load up, you whisper. The four phantoms slide down the rocky slope. Smoke grenades are tossed. Deafening gunfire shatters the stillness of the valley. You pull the trigger. Magazines empty rapidly. 4 men against 20 enemies. The element of surprise in the SAS's surgical killing skills wipe out the convoy in under 3 minutes. The acrid smell of gunsmoke and the pungent stench of burning gasoline fill the air. The target is completely destroyed. The mission is a resounding success. But upon returning to the base in Hereford, you have to face the commanding officer. You blatantly broke the core mission protocol. The officer stares at you. Then he nods. No punishment is handed down. This organization doesn't need machines that only know how to blindly follow orders. They need individuals arrogant enough to make life and death decisions on their own, and possess enough fortitude to personally shoulder all the bloody consequences of that decision. You are 28 years old, the age when stubbornness has seeped deep into your marrow. You wear the rank of corporal, becoming a patrol commander. You directly hold the lives of 3 other brothers in your hands. There is no superior officer on the ground for you to blame. The tropical jungle rain pours down like a waterfall. You are lying flat under a rotting, ancient tree trunk, completely covered by a poncho. You have been watching a terrorist camp for 3 grueling days and nights. No sleep, no fires. You eat freezing cold nutrient paste tubes and urinate right into a plastic bag tucked by your feet. Every sense is strung as tight as a piano wire. On the 3rd night, a young soldier in your patrol, a rookie fresh out of selection, shifted his position due to sheer exhaustion. The toe of his boot slipped, snapping a dry twig. Crack. That tiny sound echoed through the dead silence of the black night like a thunderclap. The hounds from the enemy camp immediately started barking furiously. Flashlight beams swept erratically through the canopy. The perfect hide site was compromised. You have to make an immediate decision. Fall back, withdraw to preserve the lives of the 4 of you, or hold the position to secure the encrypted document package about to be handed over. Hold position. Stand by to engage, you hiss through your teeth. A hail of AK-47 bullets sweeps through the branches overhead. Your patrol returns fire. Muzzle flashes strobe continuously. A choked scream rings out to your right. A lead-core bullet has pierced the young soldier's throat. He collapses, blood pouring out mixed with the mud. You don't stop. You throw a fragmentation grenade, providing cover for the remaining 2 men to charge and clear the camp. The documents are secured. Intelligence mission successful. The next morning, the extraction helicopter picks up your patrol. You sit silently looking at the black body bag resting on the floor of the chopper. The rotor wash kicks up a storm of dust and sand. There is no crying. There are no words of comfort. You begin to understand the nature of this machine. In the SAS, the success of an operation is never measured by the number of survivors who return. At 33 years old, you are promoted to troop sergeant. Your scope of vision widens. You no longer command 4 men. You coordinate 16. You sit in command tents, hunched over building blueprints, planning massive assault operations. Deafening sirens wail outside a 3-story bank building. Terrorists have taken dozens of civilian hostages. Your troop is fast roped onto the roof from helicopters. Thick smoke. The acrid smell of burning plastic. You kick out the ventilation glass, abseiling down into the main lobby area. Sharp gunfire rings out. The 16-man formation moves rhythmically like a machine, clearing the targets on the 2nd floor. But as you breach the door to the storage room where the hostages are held, Your eyes catch a razor-thin, transparent tripwire strung across the doorway. Connected to it are blocks of C4 explosive plastered all over the room's load-bearing pillars. They have rigged this entire sector to blow. The digital countdown timer flashes. 15 seconds. There is no time to defuse the bombs. There is no path to herd dozens of panicked, screaming hostages out to safety. You have to choose. Rush in and try to save a few people, burying your entire Special Forces troop under the rubble, or abandon them. Fall back. Now, you roar into the radio. You raise your weapon, forcing your soldiers to back away behind the corridor's steel fire door. You slam the steel door shut just as an earth-shattering explosion detonates. The wall shakes violently. Dust and plaster rain down on your head. The storage room collapses, burying all the desperate screams of the hostages inside. Your troop survives without losing a single man, but the hostages are all dead. In the shower stalls at the base that night, you watch the cold water run over your calloused fingers. The feeling of guilt has calloused over. At this age, having been through all that blood, you no longer fight for the civilian world's moral concepts of right or wrong. You don't play the hero. You only fight to keep your blokes alive. Passing the age of 38, you hold the rank of major, becoming a squadron commander. You are one of the highest-ranking commanders in the regiment, managing 60 of the most combat-proficient phantoms on the planet. You coordinate all assets, all missions on a global scale. You sit in the dark, and you hand down death sentences. A classified dossier with a red stamp is placed on your desk by MI6, an assassination order. You open the file. The attached photograph makes your heart skip a beat. The target is not a heavily bearded terrorist kingpin. It is a British man, with a familiar, ice-cold gaze. A former SAS operator. A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with you, shared meals with you, slept in the same trench with you 10 years ago. The dossier is clear. He went rogue, betrayed his country, selling operational intel to foreign intelligence. The government trusts no one but you to clean up this mess. A heavily soundproofed safe house in Eastern Europe. Dead of night. You do not operate alone like a street assassin. You are the commander. Your assault team has kicked down the door, subdued him, and strapped him to an iron chair in the middle of the room. You walk in, coldly signal your men to step outside and lock the door. It's just you and him. A suppressed Sig Sauer pistol rests snugly in your hand. He looks up at you. His face shows no surprise, nor panic. He slowly exhales cigar smoke. Your eyes meet under the sallow overhead light. There are no lengthy explanations, no begging for his life. They told you I turned traitor, didn't they? He chuckles dryly. The corners of his mouth twist into utter contempt. You'll be just like me eventually, he whispers, his deep voice carrying a profound exhaustion. When you realize this machine eats its own children. You look straight into his eyes, not a flicker of hesitation. You raise the gun, squeeze the trigger. Foot. The bullet pierces his heart. The corpse slumps in the chair. You holster the gun, turn on your heel, and walk out of the room, ordering the cleanup crew in. But his final words keep echoing in your head. You wonder, was the system right? Was he a traitor? Or was he the only one who saw through the rotten truth, and you just personally executed the last sane man? The truth is buried forever. 45 years old. You enter the ranks of UKSF Command. You no longer wear field gear, no longer carry weapons. An elegant black suit conceals the web of scars across your body. You sit in completely soundproofed rooms in London, working directly with the Secret Intelligence Service. You are the brain behind the Shadow operation. A top-secret operation you planned in a hostile country is compromised due to faulty intelligence. A military disaster. 2 SAS patrols are ambushed. 8 men dead on the spot. 4 captured alive, tortured, and executed on underground broadcasts. The emergency briefing room at Whitehall is suffocatingly tense. Politicians in expensive suits rub their foreheads, sweating bullets. A diplomatic crisis is on the verge of erupting. And then, the final decision is made in the coldest possible manner. The British government issues a complete denial. They declare there are absolutely no British military forces operating in that region. The system does not completely erase the existence of the fallen to throw them into the void. That would create uncontrollable fissures. They craft a perfect lie. The bodies are secretly repatriated. Their families receive a solemn death notice citing the cause: killed in a training helicopter crash on a Welsh mountainside. Their names are still carved into the clock tower at the Hereford base, but the cause of death is forever a cruel deception legitimized by the government. And your command file, your name on those operational documents, is also completely whitewashed. You sit in an empty office. The computer monitor is just a block of gray. You have dedicated your entire life, spilled your blood for this system. And now, you bitterly realize the ultimate truth of the SAS. The sacrifice of its soldiers is merely a stage play orchestrated to protect the face of the state. At 50, you hold your discharge papers in your hand. You return to civilian life, a small brick house in a quiet suburb. You wear a thin sweater, brewing a hot cup of tea. Outside the window, a neighbor is mowing the lawn. Kids are riding bikes on the pavement. Everything is so peaceful it feels fake. You sit down on the sofa, raising the teacup to your lips. Bang! A massive noise suddenly erupts from the house next door. The old, heavy garage door slipped off its chain and slammed hard onto the concrete floor. Your pupils dilate to their maximum. Your heart rate spikes in milliseconds. The porcelain teacup shatters on the floor. Your body reacts automatically. You dive for cover under the glass coffee table, rolling behind the sofa. Your right hand is empty but still involuntarily raises up, mimicking the grip on a handgun, sweeping every blind corner of the silent living room. Cold sweat breaks out on your forehead. Your breathing is heavy and rapid. 10 seconds pass. There is no gunfire. No enemy storms in. Only the sound of the TV broadcasting the weather report. You slowly lower your hand. You slump onto the wool rug covered in shards of the broken teacup. You bury your face in your hands. An overwhelming sense of utter isolation swallows you whole. The system returned you to the civilian world, but it didn't return your soul. You can never go back to being a normal human being again. Because deep down inside, you haven't been a normal human being since the day you put pen to paper and signed that selection form at 22. You pass the age of 55. Your hair is completely white. The overlapping wrinkles around your eyes hide that ice-cold gaze. You shove your hands into the pockets of your wool coat, standing quietly in a hidden corner near the gates of the familiar infantry barracks. The wind rustles the dry leaves under your feet. Not far from you, in front of the notice board in the corridor, a group of young squatties is huddled together. They are laughing and joking, pointing at a 4-sheet of paper just pinned to the board. The stark black text: United Kingdom Special Forces Selection, UKSF Selection. The group of young soldiers disperses, leaving only a young lad, about 22 years old. He wears a mud-splattered DPM uniform. He stands hesitating in front of the notice board. His eyes are wide, full of desire, full of ambition to prove himself. He pulls a ballpoint pen from his breast pocket. You stand in the distance, squinting to clearly see his hand trembling slightly as he brings the tip of the pen to the paper. A thrill of youth, thinking he is stepping onto the path of heroes. You look at him, exactly as if you are looking back at your own shadow 33 years ago. A chill runs down your spine. You understand the entire nature of this colossal machine. The SAS regiment never creates romantic heroes out to save the world. Nor do they create mindless, bloodthirsty monsters. What they create are simply human beings who are shattered from the inside out. Human beings completely stripped of the ability to return to a peaceful life. You stand in silence. You do not approach. You do not pat his shoulder to dissuade him, like the old soldier did to you all those years ago. You turn your back, slowly walking away down the gravel path, without saying a single word, because you know all too well the cruel irony of the shadow world. The sacred motto embroidered in gold thread on the beret badge is, "Who dares wins." But there will never be a single person, not a single document that tells you what you will have to lose in exchange for that invisible victory.